Okay everyone, welcome back to RTR, Imperium Surrectum 4 Total War Rome Remastered, and it's great to once again be doing a campaign in this wonderful, amazing, beautiful, stupendous, lovingly crafted mod, which I did not work on, but I can at least upload some to YouTube so you can see how beautiful and stupendous and amazing and lovingly crafted it is. Now, I'm going to do a Roman campaign, that's right, but I'm only going to be playing on hard because last time I uploaded this mod we were on version 5 I think, and we are now on version 0.6.5. So let's check. Now it is considered to be easy as the Romans, but we're also going to be doing a short campaign. We have to take out Epirus, the Insubres, and Syracuse. Obviously most of you know where Syracuse is, right there in Sicily, and Epirus is somewhere around there, and the Insubres are in northern Italy, south of the Alps, because if you went north of the Alps you wouldn't be in Italy anymore. Now there are just so many factions. In fact, not all of the factions are on here, because I believe now there are a whole bunch of emergent factions. So yeah, that's great. It's amazing what modders can now do with Rome Remastered, as many of the restrictions were removed from it. Right, there's in fact a Mauryan Empire up here, but I think they need a little more fleshing out. But of course at some point we're going to be playing pretty much all of the factions. Right. Yeah, I think the last time I did an Armenian campaign, wasn't it?
Gods. I hate Gauls. My grandfather hated them too, even before they put out his eyes. Did you think I'd be out here on the frontier without good reason? Yes, Rome needs a strong frontier. No! Rome doesn't need unwashed barbarians at her gates. So, that's why I'm here, the leader of the Julii, to bring Roman order to stinking Gauls. Revenge? That'd be good too. This war against the Gauls won't last long. And when it's done, I've got plans. This is all about power. Power in Rome. Going down that road means dealing with all my rivals. The Senate, the Greeks, those Carthaginian elephant riders, the Scipii and the Brutii families too. After all, the man who controls Rome rules the world. And one day, I will be emperor.
Indeed. Now, unfortunately, since the last time I uploaded the Armenian campaign, my computer died, and to get it back up and running, I had to take a downgrade on both the motherboard and the GPU. In fact, I had to take a significant downgrade on the GPU, going from a 3070 down to a 1060. So the graphics may not look as good as they used to, which is unfortunate. Now I should also say that the Roman faction itself has had something of a, well, I wouldn't say a downgrade. Many of the units that used to be available, up to I think version 3, have temporarily been removed, because the Romans are in fact going to get a complete overhaul at some point. I don't know when, but at some point they will. So we're going to be playing with mostly the base units. There are not going to be any named or numbered legions, I don't think. Actually, it seems to be balanced for hard difficulty, which is good. Generally, I play on very hard, but anytime I do a new mod, I'll always usually drop it down to like hard, or check for the modders to see what is balanced around. Right, And for the 999,000th time, for anyone who's watching, if your unit cards appear as peasants, please go to the graphics section and change the unit colour scheme from vibrant to realistic. It's in the frequently asked questions section of the mod, and people never read that. That is the #1 asked question in the Steam forums. Right, now I will leave a link to the Discord, the Steam forums, and the ModDB page, because older versions of the mod are kept on ModDB. Right, you should have read that all by now. They start with negative income. We're not one of them. Many factions do. I think there's been a rework to the economy in this version as well. Rome was not built in a day. Defeats are only setbacks. Good luck, General. Ah, kind words. Right. As you can see, we're actually making some good money, but that will not last. It will not last long at all. Extreme mode. Now, I always turn this one off. You can choose to face more AI armies for a more extreme game. If you respond in the affirmative, you will encounter multiple AI armies and will fight many more battles. If you decline, the difficulty level will be somewhat easier, but you will still face a determined AI. No. That's basically what we've already read. Dominant regional power. Right, now this is, I think, related to the balancing of the economy in this version. So, we are now Empire size 6, because we have 41 to 80 regions. The Empire size is a balancing system to control the players and the AI's tax income. Small factions receive tax bonuses, while big factions trade their income for law and happiness bonuses. Right. In fact, how many regions do we have? We have 43, so we are just in level 6. I don't know how many levels there are. I'll have to ask on the forums about that. Right, now we've got an army up here. Pretty good army. Pretty good army. We've got a rebel settlement there. Let's see, do we start with any enemies? Only the rebels. We are allied to Massalia. Pretty much every version of this mod I've played as Rome, we get backstabbed at some point by Massalia. Don't know why, but they always want to come into northern Italy and then backstab us. Now, at the moment, we cannot recruit most of our better units. Let's go to Rome. Rome is where we can get 4 units. That's our capital. That's Rome. We can only get Velites, Hastati, Equites, and Lucanian infantry, which are spears. Down here in this region, most of the units will be Greek. We have allied Italic Hastati, and we've got some Greek units down here. Right. What agents are we working with? Only 2. Here's my spy. Here's Syracuse. Now we have to make a decision because we've got enemies down here that we need to take out. Enemies up in northern Italy, and then enemies somewhat around here in Epirus. But I think I'm going to go into Sicily first. That's what I think. I mean, we could try to leave these as a buffer zone between us and Syracuse, but I don't think that'll last very long. I don't. And I think Sicily, if we take all of it, or even part of it, is going to be very profitable for us. So, there is a land bridge. There is a land bridge also over at Gibraltar. I don't believe there's a land bridge anymore from here to the UK or the British Isles. I think there was in the earlier versions, but I think that got removed. There is a land bridge right here from Crimea into Russia at the Kerch Strait, and I think there's one across from Byzantium, possibly. There definitely is over here. Right, So we're going to have to get past these two rebel settlements. He's got 100% chance. Now that has Greek recruitment. We'll have to destroy those buildings in any case because they have the wrong culture. That's actually a strong army in there. Those are a good cavalry unit, but I can never figure out how to retrain them as the Romans. Let's have them go in. So we go in without any trouble. I would say their army is almost as good as this one. Now the funny thing is, I have seen them, the rebels, send this army over here to relieve this settlement before basically leaving that undefended. So we're going to have to do some empire management, which for some people is quite boring, but I actually quite enjoy. Boy.
A most generous proposal.
Alright, that was nice of them.
A most generous proposal.
I'm going to ask for an alliance. That's very demanding,
No
unfortunately, on me.
benefit to us.
Right. Now there are just so many factions in this mod that you can get a lot of money from trade, but you've got to get a lot of diplomats out there. In this version, it was the Illyrians that got a big rework. There's a whole bunch of Illyrian factions and emergent factions out here. So we'll get to talk to some of them. I've got a ship right here. Now there is a rebel settlement there. Hopefully they don't come after us. Now I'm going to get him on board and either go into North Africa or sail him all the way to the east. See how quickly he can move. Right. We do have a Greek settlement over here for some reason. Don't know why. The Greeks did have lots of colonies in the Italian peninsula, so we can at least talk to them. We've talked to the Boii. The Insubres are up here somewhere, so we'll go and talk to them as well. But we want to send somebody into Iberia, although there's only 3 Iberian tribes. We can talk to the Gallic tribes on the way, so that's an extra 2, 3. And I'm going to get another one over here because there are 3 factions in Sicily. There's Syracuse, Carthaginians, and another one called Acaragas, I think. Now we have to do the empire management bit, public order, get this sorted out. Probably most of those just dropping them down, right? It's going to cost us some money, but we've got to get them under control. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. And then there'll be somewhere we can actually raise the money. So I'm going to leave this army up here, despite being a very good army, for defense in case anyone comes after us. And I'm going to send you down to Sicily. Now you can see the movement range. You can only move from there to there at the moment because we don't have, in fact we don't have any road networks over here. Rome has only 1 road, 2, well 3 going to the port. But yeah, it's not great movement at the moment. Some other settlements have some roads, but it's going to take him a while to get down here, isn't it? 3 turns. So do what you can in the meantime. Right, Rome is losing population, but I am going to increase that because we're going to have to spend money to make money. 15.5k income. Once those diplomats start moving around, we're going to start making a lot more money. But our units are actually quite expensive in this version. And I should also point out that our units, even the most basic, now take 2 turns to recruit. That's right. You can't simply raise an entire stack from 20 settlements in 1 turn. So that actually takes a bit getting used to. I know there are other mods that make units 2 or 3 or even 5 turns recruitment. Yes, Zarlem's Total War, I'm looking at you. I've got a unit like that in my current Zarlem's campaign as Moldavia. An infantry unit that takes 5 turns to recruit. They're a decent unit, but blast, 5 turns. Got over 18k income. And remember, we start out with 43 settlements. Now, about 3 days before this one comes out, if you're watching this one going live, we have the Carthaginian campaign out as well, but in the very famous Europa Barbarorum mod. Many Rome players will be familiar with that. That was the very first Total War mod I ever installed, was Europa Barbarorum. I did in fact install Rome Total Realism and Roma Surrectum quite a while after that one. And this mod is in fact built by surviving members of the Rome Total Realism and Roma Surrectum teams. So I've got a lot of playtime out of what they've made for us. Those modders are great. Keeping the franchise alive while Creative Assembly does their utmost to kill it off, in my humble opinion. It's not just the games that CA makes or doesn't make that are killing off the franchise, it's also their attitude towards the players. Alright, we must be getting close. Now everyone's on very high. I know a lot of people like to lower taxation and get as much growth as possible, but many of these settlements only have like 2,000, 3,000, 2,400. I mean, even if you had, let's see, what's the difference? -2.5 to -1. I mean, you'd still be losing population. Might as well get that money and invest it. So I don't think there's anything else we can do. You've moved. We do have that settlement there, which is tempting, but there's also 2 rebel settlements up here. And then there's definitely one there, and I think another one down here. Right, end of turn 1. 270 BC, autumn, spring, summer, or autumn. Right. Is it 4 turns per year? I can't remember. Right, now it may be a bit slow because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background in turn 1 or in the first few turns as things get shaken out. No, it's actually gone through really fast. The first day this version came out, it actually seemed like it was really slow in turns, but they've actually speeded up. Look at all those great factions. Those are beautiful unit cards there, aren't they? They're just beautiful. Yep, if you watched very closely, you would have seen Kush. There's the Marians. I do want to play one of those factions down south, like the Ptolemies or the Sabaeans or Kush. But again, we're limited to time on the channel. That's why I'm playing a short campaign. Hopefully it will be short. Right, we can see a rebel army has come out over there in the top right corner. Don't know how aggressive they're going to be. I don't even know if we'll get a battle in this episode. There's so much to do. Right, see, a faction has been wiped out. Dummies. Well, I'm actually happy that the dummies have been wiped out. I would not like to fight the dummies. There is no honour in fighting dummies, and I would not like to be allied to the dummies. There's no security in being allied to dummies, and I would not like to have dummies as my neighbours. So, they are gone. Right, where did they come from? Because they didn't come out of there.
Noble master.
Right, I'm going to sail them over. Oh, I'm going to try and sail them over. There's Epirus. There's some more Greeks. There's some Illyrians. And there's a different Illyrian faction. As I said, it was the Illyrians who got the major rework in this one. Alright, get trade with the Greeks. Now keep an eye on that, see if it goes up or not.
Would you consider?
Nope.
Until next time.
Don't worry about it.
A most generous proposal.
Didn't really change much, did it? We will need some ports to get the trade going with them.
A most generous proposal. I shall speak with them at once. A most generous proposal.
You're welcome.
A most generous proposal.
You're welcome. Now, we're not actually at war with Epirus at the moment. Many Rome 1 or Rome 2 mods
A most generous
start them out at war.
A most generous proposal.
Alright, we could have him go back on his ship, couldn't we?
Ready to sail, noble master. Set sail.
Alright.
Your honor. At once.
There's another new faction. History.
I shall speak with them at once. A most generous proposal.
Right, get that map info. Give us some money wherever you can.
A most generous proposal.
Ooh, there's another faction.
A
The
most
Burnai.
generous proposal. A most generous proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Your honor.
And is the I pronounced as a J? Like Japodas? I am not familiar with this faction. I think that's got to be another new one. Got to be. Alright. Diplomat there. Already talked to the Boai. And there's the Insubres, who we do have to take out at some point. And you are going to head along the coastline, if you can get past those rebel settlements, and go into Iberia. Candidate for adoption. Good, we need him, and he's in Rome. Right, faction destroyed. Right, Sparta and Messene. Right. Yeah, Sparta is a fan favourite. I think there's a lot of work gone into the traits as well. He's following the mercantile trade, that's good. So all we've recruited. Diplomats. Right, now we've got a good amount of money and we're going to start investing it. Now, another reason I'm not worried about taxing them on very high is that I plan on enslaving. Oh, they did come out. So I'm definitely going to be enslaving some of these settlements. Teach them a lesson. So our population will go up. Let's see if we have any unhappy settlements now. No, everyone's happy, everyone's in the green. Right, let's see the richest settlements income. Not surprisingly, it's Rome. Right, what do we have? Now, I already know that we have the Shrine to Saturn, civic building construction cost reduction. I know that's a bit of a mouthful, but that's 5%. And it's 5% per each level of this temple chain. So the next level will give us an extra 5% off. So that's going to make all of our buildings cheaper, and it only takes 2 turns. So that's an investment for the future. Now if anyone's played the Divide and Conquer mod for 3rd Age, you'll know there's also like a stonemasons building that does the same thing. And I always invest in them because they make buildings so much cheaper. I mean, we've got a good supply of money coming in, and that's going to increase as we get more of those diplomats out there and get more trade agreements going. And we've got a second army going down towards Sicily, so I don't think we need to recruit at the moment too much. So we'll put it into buildings. As you can see, we're not the dominant culture there. Ionians. This would be Latins. Alright, I don't think we're going to get a battle in this one, but I think we'll be set up for at least one battle in the next episode, possibly 2. Now if and when we get into a big war in Sicily, then we'll have to start recruiting. I want to be built up by the time that happens. You don't have any defenses, so I am going to put that one in. Right, now we're running out of money. That's going to make everything a lot cheaper. Right, we don't have any more money. Yeah, so I think we'll leave it there. They may come after us, and if they do, it's going to be a big battle, which we may or may not win. But either way, we're going to kill off most of the rebel forces down here, making it somewhat easier for this chappy here with his army to clear these ones up. So I think in the next episode we can perhaps claim 2 settlements. We've got an extra general. You know what? I think we'll have him. There's already governors in there. We can use his bodyguard unit. That's what we can do. So yeah, we're going to end it there. Sorry there wasn't a battle, but when you start off with a large empire, you've got to put a little effort into managing it. But we will definitely get some battles in this one.